What's up, fam? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me for another video. This one is special. I have been working on putting this together for months, and I was almost ready to actually start putting it together, and then they announced the GFBF album that was coming out, and I knew I had to put it on hold to see what the album brought out first before I ended up making this. So here we are now, and I'm super excited to present this to you. Most of you, if you are here, probably already know a lot of this information, but I wanted to make this because a lot of times when people find Tom, they also discover Nova. Um, and her music is incredible all by itself. They make magic together, but Nova is an incredible lyricist who I think is super underrated. And she makes music on her own terms, and she has an incredible story, and I wanted to share that with y'all today, especially for people who find Tom and are new to his music and they end up finding Nova. This would be a great video for them to watch to get to know her a little bit better. So, let's get into it. So, if you don't know, Nova Rockafeller is not her real name. That is her stage name. It was given to her in her earlier years when she first started rapping by other rappers. Nova Lee Pahalik was born on July 22nd, 1988, and grew up in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, until the age of 9, when in 1997 they moved to Jamaica. Her family opened and ran a water sports business there, I believe, is what I could find online. And they lived there about 5 years until they moved back to Canada in 2002. At some point along those lines, or at that time, her parents ended up splitting up, and she dropped out of high school and went into group homes and shelters, or between the ages of like 14 to 16-ish. I don't know the exact dates, but it was somewhere around there. And that's where she actually discovered rapping. And she would see the boys freestyling and stuff, and she just thought, damn, I want to do that too. And so that's what she did. Eventually, sometime before her 17th birthday, she moved back in with her father and her brother, who also were musically inclined. And I think they had a studio at their house, and all Nova wanted for her 17th birthday was a mic. And I'm pretty sure her father was the one who bought it for her. And she got her first mic, and so she was making music, started rapping. A lot of the other rappers in the community wouldn't put her on their show. Here's just this little female rapper. And so she decided, fuck you then. I'm going to throw my own. And that's what she started doing. And she promoted the shit out of her shows, and they were banging. Everybody wanted to be on her show. And that's exactly how she met Tom.
Probably.
But I remember the first time I saw you.
Right. First time you saw me.
You were looking down, and you were walking out of the Monkey Island. Like, we were meeting there, and you were walking out of the bar to come meet me, and you were looking down. I think you were wearing a hat or something. And then you looked up, and I saw in your little eyes, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, he is amazing looking, so gorgeous. Like, I was like, he's so gorgeous. And I saw the actual look in your eyes. And the first words I thought were like, oh my God, that man is pure danger. I was like, he's dangerous. So I sloughed you off pretty much because you thought I was pretty great right away. And I sloughed you off for years because I was like, no. I was like, he will absolutely break my heart.
Every time I tried to hang out with you, you gave me some excuse why you couldn't. I even went to go meet you places, and then you text me, be like, oh, just left there, sorry. On White Ave, yeah. But I didn't care. I was just there to get shit-faced anyway.
Yeah,
so.
like White Ave is a party no matter what. Oh, I miss White Ave. I miss it so much. But yeah, I just thought you were amazing. Thought you were so pretty. But it's crazy because I can't think of another person whose eyes I remember looking into for the first time. But yours like always like stuck out to me, like it like shattered a little piece of my heart instantly.
Maybe it was love at first sight, babe.
For me, I think it definitely was.
I loved you. I loved you the day that I met you. I told you. I thought you were so cool. I never met anybody that was cool like you before.
And I think me sloughing you off for a few years like really helped as well. But then we became really good friends. And
We did.
I knew you were the most amazing person ever when you sent me the Growing Pains video. I was just like, oh my God, he's actually talented in this sea of shit. I have found a little diamond in the shit sea of the Canadian hip hop scene. Okay, well,
And look at us now. Living the dream, baby.
Tom had just kind of retired from professional wrestling. You know, after a series of injuries and stuff, it just wasn't something that he could continue doing. And so he ended up pursuing his rapping career. He'd already been writing poetry and stuff. So he went that direction, emailed Nova on someone's suggestion and asked to be on her show. And she, I think the song she said she heard first was "Throw Your Drink at the DJ," which I would give money to hear that song today. I really would. But she obviously thought it was good enough and saw something in him. And this was just over email, so she hadn't met him yet, and put him on her show. So that is kind of her early years leading up into rap. So the basics. There's a lot of stuff in between there, obviously. But so that was in 2008 when they met. So she was probably either 19 or 20 years old at that time.
I scheme, I get what I want, steal what I need, and the whole team lean when they meet me in the parking lot. And we don't need that act cool, this ain't no act shit. My ex is the first to tell you that I'm bad shit. Don't need societal bullshit, take knowledge generation. Ain't fucking with no job, no high school education. I thrive on all the hate and I die for motivation. These lazy motherfuckers keep dying in anticipation. And if we want it, we get it, we never need it though. And if we said it, we meant it, it's getting critical. No, we don't know where we're headed, we know we wanna go. And yeah, I'm covered, let's get it, we go Geronimo.
So between 2008 and sometime in 2012, 2013 range, Nova and Tom, they remained friends, but kind of went their own ways. Nova was still pursuing her dream of being a label artist at that time. Or I don't know if I would say it would be label artist, but I mean, at that time, that was everyone's dream, right? You wanted to get signed and be a big artist. Especially when you have that type of funding, you can do all sorts of cool things. And Nova is an extremely creative person. So she ended up putting out a song called Call Me Batman and attached her phone number, her actual phone number to it. And it was posted on the front of the Pirate Bay during its period as the Promo Bay. And the song was available free as a download.
Already like a child star, pre-rehab, pre-overdose, pre-makeover, pre-relapse. Everybody looking at what we have. I don't have shit but a fucked up past. Gloves hide the scars and the blunts numb the pain. Green bottle to my face, getting drunk in the day. Breaking through a fence just to pop champagne. I'm a hood rat vandal, about to catch fame. Smoke, I see signs in the night. And so high and low, throw pals at my right hand. Yes, we know, everywhere we go. Nova, but you can call me Batman. Louis Bell slugger with the backhand. Tucked in my damn pants, I don't give a damn, man. Yes, we know, everywhere we go. Nova, but you can call me Batman.
And it was kind of, it kind of like went viral in a sense. But it really got, it got the attention of the labels very quickly. And it was just, it was a genius move because then the labels could actually contact her, which they did. Mercury was one of those, and Mercury eventually became Def Jam Records. So she ended up moving to New York in 2013 or around there, and signed a production deal, which sounded like a great idea at the time, but turns out it wasn't so great. And Tom and Nova really kind of explain this really well in a video I found.
Hold on. Let me just end this by saying Def Jam stuck my friends with the bills. They didn't pay for stuff.
That's a good way to say it.
When Def Jam was saying that, like, oh, we'll pay for this, we'll pay for this, we'll pay for this, they didn't pay for that, and then they stuck my friends with the bill. Even though all the decisions were made by Def Jam, I signed away my right to make any decisions about how I spend my money. And then now all the money I make from albums that aren't physical sales go to pay back that debt from Def Jam, deciding what to do with.
That her friends now have the bill. So
I could probably have just been like, hey, I'm out, but like I just feel like that person believed in me at some point, and like I don't want to just like turn my back on someone who believed in me to the point where they put down like hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I'm working on just recouping it. But I think I'm almost there. So everyone, listen to some Nova Rockafeller tonight and be like, we're doing this to say fuck the man.
Hell yeah, we fucking creeps. Me and all my best guys. Ripped jeans, flannel shirts, so grimy. We are the children of the 1990s. We live in shit. Don't kill my teen spirit. We are the children of the 1990s. We are the children of the 1990s.
it's like,
a scam!
how long ago was that? 12 years ago?
10 years ago.
10 years ago. Signed a deal 10 years ago with Island Def Jam.
Bye, babe.
Bye, babe. Is no longer signed to Island Def Jam. But Nova's team, her manager and her agent and all those people that existed outside of Island Def Jam, Island Def Jam gave all of those people the bill for everything that Island Def Jam did for Nova, even though they ultimately ended up doing nothing. So now, like, Nova's not signed to Island Def Jam, but she's like kind of loosely locked into her friends. Out of the goodness of her heart, I might add. She could fucking walk away at any point in time. She could say, you know, fuck you guys, I'm out. But those people are her friends, and she feels bad that they got stuck with the bill from Def Jam. So she's now honoring her friendship with those people, and helping them pay back the bill to Island Def Jam.
When they young in the fire, get so low that it's violent. Take a while like we're tyrants, and stay running from the sirens. When they young in the fire, get so low that it's violent. Take a while like we're tyrants, stay running from the sirens. Rips my jeans like her, I think don't start. I scheme, I get what I want, see what I need. The hope is leaving to meet me in the parking lot. And we don't need to act cool, this ain't no act shit. My ex is the first to tell you that I'm bad shit. Fuck societal bullshit, acknowledge generation. Fucking with no job, no high school education. I thrive on all the hate, I die for motivation. These lazy motherfuckers can die in anticipation. And if we want it, we get it, we never need it though. If we said it, we meant it, it's getting critical. No, I don't know where we're headed, you know the money go. And yeah, I'm calling the skater, we go Geronimo.
Realize a lot of people are like asking, like, what do you mean? Like, is it like a loan or like what's going on? So here, I'll give you guys just the most basic breakdown ever, okay? You sign with Universal, all right? Universal says, okay, we'll take you on, we'll take your album. We're gonna split the profits 50-50. And they own your likeness and your name and your image. And it literally says, like, throughout the world and the universe. Like, they own the rights to your image and your music, 50% of your masters, everywhere, no matter what. So they'll say, okay, cool, we'll split it 50-50, we'll split the profits 50-50, and then they're like, what do you need? Okay, you need to get this album recorded, mixed and mastered, so what's that cost? $250,000 with the best producers in the world? Cool, that's $250,000. How many fucking videos are you gonna need for this thing? 4? Okay, that's another $250,000. That's 500 grand. You know, you're gonna need merchandise, and we're gonna have a radio campaign, and the radio campaign costs this much money, and the merch is gonna cost this much money, and blah 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 blah. All of a sudden, the record label is, you know, provided $1 million worth of services to you, and depending on how badly they want you to sign with them, they might give you like a fucking, like a signing bonus or something of like $1 million. So you've taken $2 million from this record label, right? You drop the album. Let's say that the album makes $500,000, okay? You owe $2 million. Your album that you just dropped made $500,000, but you signed a deal that says you're only getting half of that $500,000. And you don't start getting half of your $500,000 until that $2 million debt is paid off. So if your album makes $500,000, your half, which is $250K, goes back towards paying that $2 million debt. You know how many fucking albums you have to drop, how much merch you have to sell, how many tickets you have to sell to fucking shows to pay back the fucking $2 million that you are in debt until you start making money for yourself and start getting money put back into your pocket? Only once that debt's clear do you start seeing your 50% of profit. Like that's the basic model for this shit.
So,
in some places,
that being said, Nova was on this production deal, and she spent the first couple of years like making, she went in with, producers and songwriters and all of this stuff, and eventually had enough to make an album. And the executives of the label said that the best way to market her for this would be to have a radio song. And, if anybody knows anything about Nova, she is definitely not like, she's not mainstream, right? Nova is super creative, and she is not cookie cutter in any way, shape, or form. And she's not like super poppy, although she has elements of those things in her music. She's just very unique. And that thing is what made her special. And honestly, they should have just marketed her that way. But instead, they wanted to make her more mainstream to sell things, right? So they wanted to manufacture a song. And so she spent a year trying to write this radio hit. And she would write a song, and you know what? Actually, I'm going to let Nova tell you what happened.
Every single record label found out about me in the same 2 weeks. So I was being flown to New York to meet with Leora Cohen, who signed the Beastie Boys. And then I was being flown back across the country to meet with Jeff Finster, who signed Britney Spears and the Backstreet Boys. It felt for a second that everyone wanted a piece of Nova Rockafeller. And I decided to sign with David Massey, who signed Oasis. Yeah.
Hell no.
So, I signed to a rock label. I signed to a label called Mercury that doesn't exist anymore, but it was underneath the Island Def Jam umbrella. And the thing about the music industry right now is it's like a sinking ship, and everyone is trying to be the last fucking person on the boat.
Hey, baby.
So when I got shuffled over to Island Def Jam, which is the same fucking record label as Nick Jonas and Iggy Azalea,
I want all my cups though.
they told me that the safest way for them to market me was if I gave them a radio single.
Fuck that! Fuck it!
They signed me because I sounded like your favorite pop punk band was a fucking Beastie Boys chick in nowadays, No. So at first I was like, fuck that, and then I remembered that this is everything I ever fucking wanted, and I was like, okay, I'll try. And radio singles are insane, because the thing about those is every song you hear on the radio has 32 fucking writers on it, has 16 producers. I'm not joking.
Right.
It's 16 producers, and it's been riddled with hundreds of notes from fucking record executives and the entire fucking industry, all the way to radio actually sends notes about radio singles.
You gotta change
so
that shit.
I knew what I was getting myself into.
Wait, what?
But they told me, they said, if you give us this song, then you can do whatever you want to afterwards. And I fucking clung to that like a horizon. And I worked. I was like, whatever I want, it's over there and I can get there. So I busted my ass for a fucking year it took me to land the song. And that was I'd write a new song every day, and then I'd be like, it's amazing, it's not good enough. It's amazing, it's not good enough. It was completely fucking self-deceiving. So by the time I got around to actually writing the record single, I wrote the entire single about the fucking music industry. And
Diamonds under pressure, that's exactly why I build castles from gold statues and gold records. That money make you rich, that money make you famous. You call me a bitch, but that's just cause you hate this. I've been in the ditch, I've been through the ringer, but I'll be sitting
then so Made in Gold was kind of that big radio hit, and it actually got some good traction. It was featured in the movie The Duff and on Dancing with the Stars.
What does it feel like to have your song be part of this huge trailer for this movie?
It's huge. I've been making music for like 10 years, and out of nowhere I just got, well, not out of nowhere, I've been working my ass off for like 3 years, but then to get like the lead single on like a big movie, and then a big movie that I actually like, it's incredible, honestly.
Yeah. And now everyone's heard it.
I'm pretty stoked. We just went to radio like a week ago.
Really?
So it's just like all the crazy things that like you dream about when you're like 13.
Yes.
I'm like getting to live right now, and it's just dope.
Right. How did this come about? How did you get involved with the project?
I'm newly signed to Island, and then I've been just trying to figure out what my sound is for the last like couple years.
I want to say it was like maybe number 14 on the, I don't know if it was the Spotify charts or it was some kind of charts, but in the end she did get dropped, and that was sometime in I would say mid 2016. And she only found out about it because they stopped paying, like her landlord told her that the label wasn't going to pay her rent anymore, that really sucks. And you know, even though it was everything she like wanted, it still wasn't like, it was definitely draining her of like, it was just dragging her down. Like, to be told over and over again that what you're doing is not good enough, it takes a toll on that person. And so she definitely struggled afterwards, after being dropped and stuff, and tried to make music again and stuff, but was just really, really not in a great place. And she actually writes about that in a blog. So at this time, this is when everything starts to change, right? At the same time she's kind of getting dropped, Tom was going through his mental breakdown that he had, which started at the end of 2015, and then was through a lot or most of 2016. So after a few months of Nova being dropped, stopped making music for a while, and kind of was using some maladaptive ways to cope, drinking, drugs, you know, partying and stuff. And then I think at some point she just started isolating herself. Eventually she called Tom and asked him to come make music with her, and he did. And about a month later or so that was probably like between September and October of 2016. And then, you know, by November 22nd, which is their anniversary, 2016, they were actually dating, and they had decided to start a band called gfbf. At this time, Nova was still with Boardwalk, a record label called Boardwalk, and they decided to do this gfbf thing together. And so they started making tracks and stuff to make an album for gfbf, the band.
And they keep telling me to fix myself. Sometimes I let it get to me. I hurt myself. I'm my own worst enemy. I'm a woman's enemy. Torture myself mentally. I'm not well. I can't fix myself. I need your help. I'm my own worst enemy. I'm my own worst enemy.
At that time, Tom had released a song, Hangman, which kind of revealed to me, like, him and Nova had just started, you know, they were only dating a few months at that time, and it was like his music was also changing and evolving at the same time. So as they're making gfbf, Tom is still pursuing this, like, his independent music as well. So they worked through gfbf and stuff all through the middle part of the year, up until August 2017, when Tom blew up with Dear Rappers. And so gfbf hadn't really taken off yet, and Nova really felt like, you know, they should pursue Tom's dream. He could not go after it. Like, after it hit 1 million views so quick, they just knew they had to attack while the iron was hot, you know, strike while the iron's hot, is what they say. And unfortunately gfbf got shelved indefinitely. So that being said, I want to read through the blog post she made about that time, about why she quit rapping for a while. Because January 6, 2021, why I quit rapping. I started rapping when I was 15 and living in a group home. The boys were always freestyling, and I listened enviously every time. I wanted so badly to be able to do that. I remember sitting on the bus to my retail job when I was 16 and trying to write songs over top of whatever rap CD I had in my Discman. On my 17th birthday, all I wanted was a microphone, and I got it. Fast forward through a bunch of terrible songs, a million last-minute bus tickets across the country, and I signed the record deal most artists would give anything for. I thought my dreams had come true, but it turns out not so much. When I got dropped, I felt crushed. I didn't get a phone call from anyone at the label. I didn't receive so much as a text. No, I got a phone call from my landlord saying that the record label wasn't going to pay my rent anymore. The hundreds of songs I spent the last 3.5 years writing faded into oblivion. The people who at one point had been tied to me with contracts faded with them until the only things I had left were my feelings, and my feelings fucking sucked. So, I started drinking. I sunk into a deep and lonely depression. My brain became a dangerous place, and eventually I learned it wasn't safe to go fucking around in there trying to write songs. Instead, I spent months on overdrive, spray painting my walls and drinking with my demons. My mental illness ran wild, and I pulled my entire life down around me. I went from wildly social, always planning a party or inviting 30 people to laser tag on a weekly basis, to a total loner whose roommates would poke fun at her for literally never leaving the house. I couldn't bring myself to do much. I would hold my guitar for a total of 5 minutes before I felt the urge to smash it on the fucking ground. But I desperately wanted to write songs, so after stumbling around in the dark for a while, I called Tom, my favorite person of 10 years, practically begging him to come over and write songs. I just wanted inside his brain. He didn't care that my lyrics were sad, his were sad too. We'd pair sickeningly sweet melodies with lyrics about suicidal thoughts. It was beautiful. Everything he wrote spoke to my heart. A month later, we'd started a band named it gfbf, written an entire album, and fell in love. He moved into my crappy house in South Central. We started shooting music videos, and I felt like magic was real. Ignore the fact that we could barely make rent and did all of our grocery shopping at the dollar store. I could see my future again. Then one night he wrote Dear Rappers, and within a few months, literally everything had changed. My boyfriend was suddenly famous, like getting recognized outside, record labels wanting meetings, the whole world trying to get a piece of it famous. He had dreamed about this for his entire life, so he couldn't not chase it. gfbf got put on hold indefinitely, and there I was again, alone, sad, and embarrassed, with more songs fading off into the distance. I was heartbroken, and I didn't feel like I had any songs left. This time around, alone with instruments, I found it even harder. Writing sad songs made me feel worse, and writing happy songs made me feel like a liar, and both fueled my self-hatred. So instead of writing, I poured myself into Tom's career. I shot and directed all of his music videos. I created his website and helped with his store. I'd co-write on his hooks, and I'd helped him navigate the music industry because I didn't want to see him get fucked over the same way I did. The work paid off. We toured the entire country 4 times, charted on Billboard, and we have hundreds of millions of views. But the depression stuck. I spent years telling myself I should be happier instead of coming to terms with why I wasn't, because I gave up on myself. And I guess I've had enough of it, because she didn't put out any solo music. Made in Gold came out, and then she got dropped. But right before I think she got dropped, she put out a song called Dear Nova, which when you listen to something like Made in Gold versus Dear Nova, you can see the difference. And you like...
And when I started, I had a heart full of fire, stomach full of hunger, scars from the liars. Got mad weed, but I can never find my lighter. They try to beat me down, but I am strong like a tiger. Smoke my bowls, broken and beautiful. See so much shit, no pharmaceuticals. Drunk in the sidewalk, city under my feet. Walk 100 blocks trying to figure out why I'm me. And I've been hurt, but that's mine like a secret. Somewhere in the shadow where you can't see it. Only I will know the shit I've been through, and I'll probably never tell you the truth. I will keep the fucking pain to myself. I pretend I'm not a messenger cells. I'll keep the fucking rapes to myself and the hate for myself to myself like everybody else. Street so dark and the park looks bright. Jumping off swings, trying to reach new heights. Hitting bowls into slides, counting stars in the skies. My reflection in the window, I get lost in my eyes. Look into the moments since they all coincide. Block time and I'm with myself on all those shitty nights. Sitting on a suitcase under city lights. Had to run away because it wasn't really right. Took so many planes, met so many faces. Fell in love so often, broken all the same places. I could hear a voice saying independent like a boy. Drink cause he get louder when I'm wasted. And I laugh when my exes get stabbed, cause I'm a bad person. Fuck me. And he hits me up and I don't give a damn, cause I'm not that person who leaves, no.
She didn't put out another solo song again until December of 2017. So quite a while later. And that was Wishing Well. And that really kind of was almost like a diary entry of how she was feeling about the situation with being dropped in the label. At least that's my interpretation of it.
There's a couple people that I wanna see, but I'm trying not to get in trouble with my feet. Walk string of bad decisions, she been known to go pee. With a head full of issues, she tell everyone I'm me. I used to have compassion for her, think that they were asking for it. Didn't understand what they break it when they can't restore. Then there's blood on the floor, I see black, like this wouldn't happen if I didn't find your knife in my bag. Don't you ever think you flew up my fire, left me inspired, like hitting rock bottom was just what I required. Or when the perfect all fades and I was left in the wire, but you expected me to up and retire, you flake. How am I doing? I'm great. Feel like crushing pain with every breath I take. But as I bring my mansion to the ground, brick by brick I put a cast on the clouds. Don't come wishing in my will, saying that you miss me and you hope I found myself. You and your well wishing, see you in hell. Keep your two pennies up in the jar to saw your shelf. Yeah, don't know me, no.
So once Tom blew up, she threw herself into filming his videos, and she really made a name for herself being the one behind all of his amazing videos. And people became, you know, Tom and Nova, their names became synonymous with one another because everyone knew that they were like a deal, a package deal together, which is amazing. So like I said, you know, this kind of also started her road back to independence, and being an independent artist free of the label, because with the production deal, she still owed money back to that label that was loaned out, right? So Wishing Well was December of 2017. She put out an album that she was really, really, really super proud of called Amped, and that was in 2018. And she put out some singles, but Scared of Heights was the next album after that, and that wasn't until 2021, but that was the album that actually paid off the label completely, and she didn't own any other money. And so then in 2023, she put out Lost Girls, and this was the first single she put out that she actually owned the master to, since signing with the label in the beginning back in 2013. So it was a big moment for her, and she talked about it a little bit.
To the major label that dropped me, you disgust me. You're part of an industry that exploits and destroys the very thing it's built upon. Musicians. How can you look a musician in the eye knowing that the contract that you're giving them will more than likely ruin their lives and destroy the thing that they love most, their music? To every major label, you are the problem with the music industry, and we don't need you anymore. Your ship has been sinking for years, and it's finally time to watch you drown. My new music video drops on Friday at 9 a.m., and I didn't need the music industry at all. And you smell.
I got a call late at night one night that another one of the kids from our childhood was coming off heroin and wanted to kill themselves, quite literally in a highway motel alone. It was particularly traumatizing knowing that all of that was happening in the place that I feel like I escaped from. I just know that, like, I was supposed to have my dreams come true. That wasn't supposed to happen. And it did. And I'm literally living a miracle like every day. And I have so much guilt because a lot of people that I grew up with are literally dead. That song is like a memorial song. And it's also like to give kids hope who are dealing with it. And it's just so important to me. So I can't believe it's #1 in alternative in iTunes. We might have a shot at Billboard if you guys buy the song. I don't control what goes on Billboard, you do. And if you want to help a kid like 16-year-old me, I'm selling autographed posters in my store, and all of the proceeds from the posters go to the Boys and Girls Clubs of Canada. Can I be really corny and say, like, for the ones we lost in the park? Because it's true.
But don't give up.
He's always hanging with the lost boys, the random from the cops, down the lot boys. They're out there selling rocks, popping off boys. Now they're doing drugs, so they got shot boys. Oh, the things he'll do to make time pass quicker. Ooh, ooh. Now you're dope sick in a highway motel alone. Ooh, ooh. All we know is climbing fences in the dark. And all we know is growing up was way too hard. And all we know is we missed who we lost in the park. And all we know is perfect people that we are.
She even ended up buying back 2 of her masters from the label. Those have not been released yet, but I'm hoping eventually someday they will be. So fast forward, and here we are in 2024, and after Tom and Nova had spent the last 8 years diving headfirst into Tom's solo career, and really putting everything towards that, they decided to both revisit and bring back GFBF, which I thought was an incredible full circle moment. From the beginning of their relationship and starting the first album that never was, to going through so much over 8 years to then eventually return and put out Wild Ones by GFBF. And it really encompassed their entire relationship. It was basically the story of their lives.
In my hometown, the other rappers hated me so much, so I threw my own show. He saw the flyer and hit me up. We met at the venue. I still remember when I looked into his eyes. First time I met you, I could feel the danger you had inside. Never thought that you would be mine. Like he's so perfect, me, I'm just fine. Didn't even realize when you tried, but I think I loved you the whole time. Once upon a time, there was a girl and a boy, the only 2 of their kind. Are you awake? No one understands me. We didn't know once upon a time we were a boy and a girl who were better combined. Stay awake, I don't wanna sleep yet. I wanna see you one more time. One more time.
Lives, which now it kind of feels like the beginning of a new chapter, and almost like putting out the album was the end of another chapter, right? And so it was like it's the beginning and the end at the same time for me. It's very yin and yang in that sense, but they finally finished what they started 8 years ago, and now they've both grown into this amazing couple, this amazing power couple.
Swinging if there's beef until they teeth gone. Right into the night singing our theme song. Just a couple kids screwed up, couple rebels to the core. Middle fingers in the air and the pedal to the floor. Singing ooh, 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 ooh. Just a couple bridges we burned. I don't think we'll ever learn. Every scar that we got was a trophy we earned. Singing ooh, 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 ooh.
And the future holds so much. They're expected to be doing Hogfest tours this year, which is like going to be kind of a festival type thing. And he said there might be like 6 to 7. We're not really sure on the details yet, but hopefully we will hear some dates announced within this next, couple of months of this new year. But it's been an amazing journey to watch them grow over the last few years and to see how far they've come from the beginning. So, I do recommend checking out their Wild Ones album. You can get it on all streaming platforms. It is incredible. So many good stories within the songs, and I will tell you that everything they talk about is real life and applies to them.
We moved to the side of the town, lighted candles on the sidewalks and bars on our house. We had a guy who come around one time, we traded a guitar for some weed. the time, just barely surviving in this old house of mine. Old house, walls full of holes. Oh wow, yeah, we still called her home. She was hotter than hell, we couldn't fix the AC. Old house in a bad neighborhood. Oh well, yeah, she treated us good. She was more than the walls, but she was never the dream.
Which is really cool because you don't get that with mainstream music. So I hope you learned a little bit about Nova Rockafeller and how amazing she is. And please go check out all of her music. Give her a sub, give her a like. You can find her everywhere at Nova Rockafeller. Join her Discord and become Find the Fam. She streams on Twitch and she's super entertaining and just one of the sweetest people ever. So, and very genuine. But that's it, guys. Thank you for joining me for another video. I hope you learned something. I hope you had a good time, and I will catch you in the next one.